Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, a podcast about leadership development brought to you by the Lesniak Institute for American Leadership, a nonprofit located in Union, New Jersey on King University's campus. We're your hosts. I'm Felipe.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Claudia.
So today's episode, I think, is going to be based around New Jersey and just everything happening within the state. So let's all say how long we've been living in Jersey for. I think that'll be a cool way to start. So, Claudia, how long have you been living in New Jersey?
22 years.
And how old are you?
22. Okay. My whole life.
How about you?
Yeah, I want to say, wow. I came here when I was 13. I came here from Guatemala. And 13, now I am 31. That makes 18 years.
18 years.
Yes.
I came here when I was 4, and I'm 24.
That's about 20 years too. Like
20 years.
The two of you, well, you were born and raised.
I've been living in Jersey longer than the both of you.
Yeah.
Well, your first years don't count.
That's
I was
true.
still living here.
Kevin, what was your first language?
Spanish.
Spanish, me too. I was in ESL classes.
I was in the beginning of the year when I came here, I had ESL classes. It took me about 3 years to dominate English.
Yeah. Well, you came at an older age. It's different when you come like at 13, 14. Like I came here at 4, barely knew Spanish.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big transition when you migrate from another country, getting used to the language, the fear of being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, one gets used to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think my English is better now than my Spanish. That's me personally, though. My parents, my whole family tells me that. But, it is what it is. But in other news,
Talk to us.
something very interesting happened today in the state of New Jersey. Our beloved governor, Phil Murphy, he gave his 2025 budget proposal, and the main focus within the whole proposal basically was to make New Jersey the best place to raise a family.
Wow.
That was the goal. Do you guys think New Jersey is the best place to raise a family?
Yes and no.
Okay, I want to know, why would you say no?
Because Jersey is really expensive to live in. And we are a city state, so there are parts of New Jersey that are really crowded and cramped. It makes, going anywhere very difficult. Like if you're going a mile somewhere in a car, it could take you 20 minutes versus like walking, which probably also take you 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say like definitely the crampedness, the amount of people here, and the cost would make me say no. But yes, because New Jersey has some pretty advanced laws. It does put its citizens first a lot of the times, like when introducing new legislation. And I think the culture here is really cool. Like we have such a diverse community all throughout New Jersey. Like you can get people in the city, you can get beachside, you can get people who live like up in a mountain or like on a farm somewhere. So it's very diverse.
I would agree.
I do agree with everything you said. I believe one of the things that we need to improve on is cities. Even though we are improving our transportation system, we have a lot of buses that go, that can take you to the mall, can take you to the beach. We have trains that can take you all the way to the shore. But I wish we can transition into more communities like Europe, where they are more walkable. One of the cities that I love about New Jersey is Montclair, because it is really walkable and you can enjoy walking in cities. I mean, it would be ideal to see more cities implement, more, added more trees, and also, having a great view when you walk, so you can enjoy the act of walking.
Yeah. I think France, I think it was Paris, actually just introduced more like walkable areas near schools for children, so there are less like accident prone deaths and stuff like that. That would be really cool if we could do that
Yeah.
in New Jersey as well.
What's beautiful about Jersey, I think, is like you could really get the best of any type of life you want to live. Like, for example, if you want to get isolated and go somewhere in the woods where you're just surrounded by nature, you could do that. Or if you want to live like somewhere near the city, you can do that. Or if you want to live like in a suburban area, you can do that too.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, it's really expensive to live here, whether it's rent or buying a house. There's actually a bill that I read. The number is Bill Assembly Bill 2824, and it modifies down payment assistance program for benefit of first generation and first time home buyers. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to give around $20,000 in down payment assistance to first time home buyers or first generation home buyers. So it could kind of level the playing field and people could start purchasing homes.
That's pretty cool.
There is a bill. Well, I know they in the federal level they want to avoid corporations, from investing, or kind of like giving them less power to invest. So then, new first-time buyers and like just like you or me have the power to invest, get your first home. But I know they're doing something on the federal level where they want like, okay, no more hedge funds.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot invest into multi-level, families.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Is this bill already? It just has been introduced.
It just has been introduced. Yeah. The main sponsors are Assemblyman Louis Greenwald and Assemblyman William Moan Jr. Louis is from District 6 and William is from District 5. And the reason I also brought it up was because that's one of the main points in Governor Phil Murphy's address was he's trying to make New Jersey more affordable. Mm-hmm. He also said that the budget also prioritizes affordable education, protecting youth, investing in New Jersey transit, and promoting fiscal responsibility and investing in economic opportunity and community growth. I mean, I'm really excited for all these things, especially New Jersey transit. Have you guys ever had an experience with New Jersey transit where it just was not reliable?
Yes, so many times. I used to take the train from my house to Kane when I went to school here, and there were times that the trains were just canceled last minute or they were late. Mm-hmm. And they're also not always consistent. Like there's not so many trains constantly going. Like you have to wait an entire hour, and if it's late, you're kind of screwed. When you're trying to get somewhere, and those hub spots where all of the trains connect in Newark,
Mm-hmm.
navigating that is a nightmare
Newark Penn?
sometimes. Yeah, Newark Penn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a nightmare to navigate, especially if you have to look at the sign and they change tracks last minute. Stressful.
No, it is. It's really confusing.
Have you guys ever gotten lost on the trains?
I've been lucky enough to able to navigate the New Jersey system. Nowadays you have your smartphone with you and you can navigate. It's really rare for you to get lost because of your iPhone or your Android, whatever you use. But back in my days, we used to either download the PDF file for the schedule or just get one of those brochures from the station itself and be like, okay, for an example, I used to take the 704, the 712, the 74, the 72, the 198. So
wait, did you guys ever print maps when you were on road trips?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah,
Claudia,
I did.
you too?
Well,
Yeah.
in the past, it was before Google Maps. You had to go to
before Google
MapQuest.
You had
And,
to
print it out.
You had to print out
Yeah.
the directions somewhere new. Yeah.
No, I have a NJ Transit story too. When I was in high school, I had to take the public bus to go to school, and the bus stop was 3 blocks away from my house. So I would walk to the bus stop, wait for the bus, and then sometimes it would take so long where I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna start walking because the bus stops are 2 blocks away from each other. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep walking, and then it'll come eventually, right? So I'll just walk, and before you know it, I'll be at school already. and not one bus has come like that would take me to school.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moments like that, it does happen quite often, especially if you don't. I mean, it's traffic. What do you expect? But one thing I really wish that we could see they could improve on is having being able to report schedule, just the way other stations like probably New York or some other type of method that you can see live updates, at the moment it passed. I mean, I know if you download the app, it shows you approximately how many minutes it's going to take, but that only applies to, to some buses, not to every bus. Or getting text messages, notifications, some way like to just improve scheduling. I mean, that's one of the things I'm hopefully with this bill can improve on.
Yeah, I'm excited for the transit too because it will just overall improve community life like around us because nobody likes sitting in traffic. I know we've all gotten stuck in traffic and it adds an extra 30 minutes. If there are more like walkable cities, like you said, Kevin, or even better just bus transportation or more like train stations and like faster trains, that would be ideal.
Yeah, and it will benefit like not only the environment, but also people's health, right?
Yeah.
Be more active, walk around more. You don't always have to be like, like just sitting in one place forever. You could like, actually walk and like be part of the community.
Yeah, because so many people spend so much time alone, like driving to work and back. Like a huge chunk of their day is spent in their car alone. And I know like some of us like will use that time productively, like listening to podcasts or music or whatever. But sometimes it's just, you need human interaction. You could totally get that on
That's true.
in like public transportation.
Do you guys ever drive with no music on, just quiet?
I have tried.
I've done that before.
I do it a lot.
If I have a lot on my mind and I just like forget to put music on, and I'll just realize like 25 minutes in that I'm like, oh, it's quiet in here.
I'm like, knock, knock.
No, my head's not quiet. Like the car is quiet.
But it's really therapeutic. I mean, when you drive without music, it can really soothe quite a community because most often we just drive in to the next destination, but we're not aware of our surroundings
Yeah.
or even just paying attention to the road and just like, oh, look, it's another car, same car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just doing that.
Yeah. Sometimes I get to my destination and I'm like, how did I even get here? You guys like, when you're
Yeah.
just driving and then you just kind of get where you're supposed to go.
Not true.
Yeah.
But with Governor Phil Murphy's address here with the budget, his goal was to make New Jersey more affordable and provide avenues for residents to work, raise a family, and retire in the state. So he also invested in pensions as well,
Wow.
so people could retire and receive their money.
I know a lot of people don't retire in New Jersey. Like they move to another state to retire.
That's very true. That's very true. I know a lot of people that move to Florida,
Yeah, Florida,
out of
South
the country
Carolina.
sometimes.
Yeah, also out of the country.
It's expensive. That's why I think. But
Yeah, New Jersey has been introducing a lot of really cool legislation lately. I know there was one recently, Assembly Bill 2874. It was just introduced to lower the age at which minors can consent to behavioral health care treatment from the age of like 16 to 14. So basically that means like if someone at 14 or 15 years old believes that they need to have like psychiatric care for whatever reason, maybe they have like severe anxiety, panic attacks, they're depressed, something happened, they don't need the consent of their parents at that age anymore to get that care and treatment. So I think that's pretty cool because there's a lot of, families that, mental health is still a huge stigma. So I feel like a lot of young teenagers might not feel comfortable talking to their parents about something, or maybe their parents wouldn't believe them, and this will, allow them to get that care like earlier on.
what do you think about this, Kevin?
Well, I believe it's a great move towards mental health, My only concern is about how there are always bad imposters and probably some kids that will abuse the system in order to gain whatever they want. That's my only concern. And I'm sure this bill has, some level of addressing this concern.
Yeah, it was just introduced, so I could see this going through a lot of like
Yeah.
modifications.
It has to go through a lot just for the fact that even if I myself, I'm thinking, yeah, there's some kid who's going to say like, oh yeah, I have this, I have depression, get those bills and probably like, either abuse them or sell them.
Yeah.
There has to be some level of someone checking on them. So if the parents are not going to do it, someone has to do it.
They would be like consenting to temporary like outpatient care, like under the supervision of a licensed healthcare professional. And this bill, it says that it's going to exclude the use or administration of medication. So they wouldn't just go to get any kind of like meds that they're looking for or abuse that aspect. It's really just for the therapy aspect, the human interaction aspect of, somebody who has their best interest in mind, talking to them and helping them through whatever they're going through. They introduced it because suicide is the third leading case of death among New Jersey teens. And that probably has increased after the pandemic as well, because that had a huge impact on people's mental health, especially kids being stuck at home on the computer doing school.
Yeah, so I wonder who is like the person that refers them to like a doctor or like the behavioral healthcare treatment. Like who is the person who is going to refer them to that treatment? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe it might be like their school, like a counselor, or maybe like a primary care physician, something like that. Or you know how like schools have people come in sometimes and do talks and like give out pamphlets for whatever they're saying. Like it could be like, a therapist's office as well. Like, oh, if you're ever in need of care, or if you're interested in looking at services, like contact this.
Yeah.
The internet, they could always just look it up.
Well, I'm a supporter of this bill if they focus on the therapy part of it, because I could definitely see the youth taking advantage of like the pills and the opioids, and that could just lead them down a very, very bad path. So
talking about therapy, I want to talk about this article that I just read, which it goes hand in hand with mental health, which is that there is a bill that okay, here it is. The bill is 1253, which they want to get dogs into classrooms as a way of therapy. So, because just like you mentioned, there was a case in which this student committed suicide, and in this classroom, like his friends, they were feeling depressed and they wouldn't talk to each other, but they brought a dog to kind of just give them like some sort of therapy. And after interacting with the dog, they felt better, and it just raised their mood. So this bill actually wants to do that. So this bill is 1253, establishes pilot program in the Department of Education to use therapy dogs in public elementary schools wellness program.
That's so interesting. I wonder if they would think about introducing any other animals as well, because some people are allergic to dogs. So like if they have any other trained animals that they could bring
what other
in.
animal would it be?
I don't know.
Cats.
Like a turtle?
What?
I feel like a turtle would be fun. A bunny?
Snake.
A lizard?
A snake.
Didn't Kane do something similar?
Yeah, so during finals and midterm season, Kane always has therapy dogs come in, and people throughout the day can like go hang out with the dogs and pet them, and you could stay for as long as you like or as long as you need to. I've definitely gone before, and they're so cute. They dress them up. One always wears a little pink tutu.
Really?
Yeah, they're cute.
It really amazes me. Like sometimes I watch videos where the service dogs can feel like their owner having like a panic attack or like having some sort of like
a medical problem.
Yeah, and they know exactly what to do. And I can't believe there's actually like dogs that are able to do that. I have a few friends who have service dogs, and they say that like, they help them just get through their day. I think it's really cool. I
Yeah,
mean,
animals I feel like are so important to like people growing up. It doesn't really matter what age you're at. Like it's such a good companion to have, like a little buddy to hang out with
hmm
you.
I say this for experience that when I greet my dog, I just give him a pat on the head. It does feel nice. It feels because just the act of loving makes you feel relaxed. An animal is not gonna reject you. A pet is not going to judge you for what you do, for what you did or what you do, and they're just gonna accept that love, and they will always give you a smile, whether you have a parrot, cat, or dog. Just the act of bonding with someone else, it's what relaxes you.
hmm there's another bill that I saw that actually passed. It was Bill A 550, which permits excused absences for students who attend civic events. So civic events are events that are sponsored by a nonprofit organization or a governmental entity that is open to the public. Civic event includes, but is not limited to, an artistic or cultural performance or educational gathering that supports the mission of the sponsoring nonprofit organization. So, if your favorite nonprofit organization is having an event, you can come to it and you could possibly be excused from school.
That's really cool because not only does it give kids a chance to, get out of school for a day and just have like a mental break from that work, they are also exposed to different areas of life and different
hmm
things. Because what do you really learn? You learn a lot in school, don't get me wrong, but what do you learn outside of the core subjects?
Yeah.
It's very structured, which kids do need, but it doesn't give them much access to like what's out there. I know
hmm
even freaking end of high school for me, I had no idea, like zero clue of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, even in college. And I started getting exposed to things. Then I was like, oh, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. So having them exposed at like a younger age to things like that, and they can also learn at these events.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I also think it would help them with the extracurricular part of like school,
Yeah.
because when you are applying to colleges or even like applying to jobs, a lot of people put their grades. Obviously there's a lot of people who have like okay grades, and that's not really something that's gonna pull you apart from everybody else. I think what pulls you apart from everybody else is the stuff you do outside of school,
Mm-hmm.
and what you're involved in and what organizations you team up with, or what organizations you volunteered in the past. So I also think that would help them in that aspect.
Yeah, and some people just aren't great at school. Like it's hard for them to do well on tests. Like there's test anxieties and stuff. Like sometimes it's just hard for people to get straight A's
hmm
in school. It's not their thing. Being able to do stuff outside and like get experience and get those certificates and learn new things outside, like that really like spices your resume up.
It really does.
And then you have stuff to talk about at interviews.
You do.
Like, have you ever gone into an interview and they ask you just a question of like something you did on your resume and you're like, oh yeah, that was actually a really cool experience for me and here's why?
Yeah, with interviews they ask you what is one event that you would say you resolved an issue or stuff. Hey,
Mhm.
actually I was at this event last week.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because everyone has experienced school. Everyone has gotten good or okay grades. Like, what really pulls you apart and what people really look at is like what you do outside of it. And I think this bill is like a perfect incentive. One, you get to be a part of an event that's probably super cool, and second, it's an excused absence, which means it won't go in your record for anything bad.
Mhm.
And I really don't see how attending these kind of events could like harm you. It would definitely do more good than bad.
Mhm. It would definitely be cool if they could do class trips too, as
Mm.
well, because, some kids don't have the ability to go to these events or like their parents work, which is pretty common. Like they have no way to get there. So it'd be cool if like classrooms themselves or just the school itself decided they were going to sign up for this like symposium for the kids to attend and learn at. It would be cool.
Yeah, we actually have a symposium coming up in Caldwell University, March 1st, a
For
social
social
justice symposium.
justice.
Symposium.
Yep.
where Senator Raymond J. Lesniak, former New Jersey senator, will be speaking as the keynote speaker there. The registration is completely free. There's going to be a bunch of different organizations and a lot of panels, and it's really meant for students. So if you're a student and you're interested in coming, hit us up.
Mm-hmm. We have that coming up this upcoming Friday. And then we also have the Breaking Barriers Conference held in April here. And that is free to all students, high school, college students, wherever you're at. And there's going to be a lot of different panels, health and wellness, education, legislation, a lot of really cool keynote speakers. And, again, that's completely free.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one because that one was really all created by student group and the student leaders. So just seeing that youth empowerment, we love that at the Lesniak Institute.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about this topic, which is the book bans. And it's a topic that comes back around since 2023. And this article on NJ.com, they did, it explains how they did a survey on New Jersey residents, whether or not, what do they feel about these book bans. And about 2/3 of the surveys, is it surveys?
Surveys.
Yeah, that. So they, about 2/3, they said that they don't like this. They don't like about anything about banning books in general. And only about 1/3 of the surveys, they say that they are afraid of these books being taught in school. And recently there was also a bill that it was just introduced as well in this early January. And it's called the Freedom to Read Act. And this is, I believe, is bill. What is this bill? Let me tell you. It's bill is 2421. And this bill establishes requirements for library material in public schools, libraries, and public libraries to protect school library media specialists and librarians from harassment.
Wow.
So, and because the whole point about, banning books from, for the talk about the LGBT, and it really attacks, the freedom of speech, the freedom, I want to say freedom of, it's not a religion, but it's just your freedom of opinion. And what do you guys think about that?
I think that there was something happened very similar in Florida where this book ban actually took place, and a lot of the schools now aren't allowed to like show books like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I also read that it's specific districts within New Jersey that are banning the books. So this bill will stop that overall. So I don't know how this bill, like, although it's going to make, Freedom to Read Act, it's going to make library material in public school libraries and public libraries to protect those books and stuff like that. I don't know how they're going to implement that into the specific districts though. Like, you get me? Like, imagine like a small town with like one school.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away with like, if like most of the parents are mad about it. I mean, it's really something that I think should be common sense, but it seems a lot more complicated than that.
I think it's scary because even in Florida, when it was still very fresh with the book bans, they were also banning certain curriculum to be taught along with that. And I feel like it's just a segue into that. Like, you're letting districts cut out certain reading material, and now you're allowing them to cut out certain learning material. And that could be just like in English classes, that could be in history classes, and cutting out certain parts of history that they just want to gloss over or not teach, which can be very dangerous, and not giving people information is dangerous. Remaining like having kids or whoever's reading this material, having them remain ignorant about it is kind of the opposite of what you want, because being ignorant is more dangerous than being well informed about a topic.
Mm-hmm. I think from what I read, the primary sponsors are Teresa Ruiz and Andrew Zwicker. Co-sponsor is Angela McKnight. The bill number is S2421. The assembly bill is A3446. So if you're passionate about, having people read what they want to read and not have specific books being banned, or if you do want some books to be banned, these would be the people you would reach out to and let them know how you feel. Overall, though, I think that reading, I know I read a lot of books in middle school, like some were like not the most appropriate books, but there were books that I will never forget, and I think taught me a lot. So
I think if they wanted to ban certain books, they should just restrict it to a certain age instead. Like if they don't want certain books to be allowed in like the middle school or elementary school to be read, just have them available when they get to high school instead, when they're a little bit more mature.
yeah.
But cutting them out entirely, I feel like is just wrong.
This goes back to one of my arguments, which is the more you prohibit something, the more it's desired. And that's a rule like in general with anything. So even if they just, that's a good idea to just make some like age restrictions, but it still is going to make them want to read them more because curiosity
100%.
comes into play.
100%. Did you ever have somebody like tell you no and then suddenly you're like, oh yeah, but I want to?
I want to say like, let's an example like video games too. Like even though they're labeled as MR or like in Europe they're labeled as Peggy 13, kids are still they're still gonna play it. I played San Andreas or like all these violent games.
Me too.
And I was on the age. What makes you think also people who are curious about reading all these books, what's gonna stop them from actually acquire them or having someone else be like, hey, can you get this book for me? They're gonna do it.
Yeah, like if you go over a friend's house, or even if your family is just chill about what you like, the content you take in, like have your parents ever been like, oh yeah, let's watch this movie together, but it was like R-rated and you were really young, like it was a horror movie or something? The same thing can happen with the books, and then that just kind of drives a wedge between certain people, because some people are more well informed and then others are completely left in the dark depending on like what their families do or don't allow into the house. Kind of school is just kind of like an equal opportunity ground for learning in general. So
Yeah. I would love to see a list of the books that are like they're trying to ban. And I actually would want to read them. They're probably short books. And I actually want to see like why. Like what is the reason why they want to ban them?
I believe a good starting point is by one of our previous interns, Gabriela. She wrote in a full article about the books that are kind of being banned. So there's a whole list, and you can even go online and you're gonna see, and even some common books as well.
yeah, there's actually aside from Gabby's article, which is a great read, everyone should go read that, but there is like a list of banned and challenged books in America that's released like every year. And some of the challenged books of 2022 include Genderqueer, a memoir, All Boys Are in Blue, The Bluest Eye, Flamer, Looking for Alaska, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Lawn Boy, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, Out of Darkness, A Court of Mist and Fury, Crank. Yeah, like there's just so many random books on here. Like I've read a bunch of these books and they're not not bad.
Isn't that a movie, The Perks of Being a Wallflower?
Yeah, it is a movie. It's actually about like mental health.
Imagine that.
I think I heard Charlotte's Web is going to get banned.
No way.
Charlotte's Web.
I swear that's what I read somewhere. Hopefully not. But moving on to higher education, I read about this bill that I thought was really, really interesting. So to summarize, right now the bill, it's Assembly Bill number 895, and right now it's in the provision era, the provision part of the bill where they're just revising like certain stuff on the bill, making sure like no stone goes unturned. And basically, the summary of the bill is it establishes provisions for the use of criminal history of applicants and students at institutions of higher education and degree granting proprietary institutions, which basically means that it prohibits institutions from inquiring about an applicant's criminal history on admission applications, except for a question regarding convictions for serious criminal offenses. It also allows institutions to deny admission based on serious criminal convictions. So, an institution of higher education can deny someone admission if they were convicted of a serious crime, but they can't use crimes that were like expunged against them. Only crimes that are still on their record. But yeah, I think this is pretty interesting because a lot of applicants, sometimes they have a criminal history, and I wonder just what they mean by serious. They were very vague. I guess that's what they're revising. It said serious criminal convictions when we're not really sure what serious actually means. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so now your criminal history can affect whether or not you are accepted into a university.
That's really interesting. Like, I wonder if there's like an age on it too, like if you're a minor or if you're not, because anyone can go back to college and get a degree. Like, are these serious crimes also applicable to minors that haven't gotten their records expunged at all?
That's true. And I also wonder, like, what would make an institution want to get a criminal history or a background check on a person, right?
Yeah.
Like, what would make them do that? Because
Ivy Leagues.
I guess like safety reasons.
Because when I applied to college, I don't think it asked me a question about my criminal history.
I don't think it did for me either.
So is that going to be a question now that they're going to be asking? Were you convicted of a felony?
Like a job application.
Yeah, it's
like you
like
apply to a job and they ask if you've been like, you have a criminal record of anything.
Yeah, well, it looks like this bill is going to actually pass from what I'm looking at it. It's been revised a couple times, and it looks like they are gonna actually get it to pass. So yeah. Before we let you guys go, we just want to tell you guys about a few events that are happening around the King University campus that we all think you should attend. The Office of Career Services is having their career and internship fair, and they're actually having preparation workshops where they will help you, fix your resume up, get your interview skills up, and really help you in that aspect. The dates for that will be Wednesday, March 6th, from 10 to 11:30, and then from 3:15 to 4:45 that same day, and Thursday, March 7th from 3:15 to 4:45, and Friday, March 8th from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And this will all be virtual, so there is no excuse for you not to be there. The other event that's happening around campus is the second annual Women in Leadership panel that is hosted by the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, the Student Retention and Educational Innovation Office. And it would be in Downs Hall on April 2nd from 4:30 to 6:30. From 4:30 to 6 p.m. There will be free food and raffle prizes. Also, there will be a great group of panelists who will be talking about what it's like being a woman in higher education and their experiences at Kane University. And yeah, I just want to say thank you all for listening. And if you made it this far to the podcast, make sure you leave a like. We really do appreciate everyone who watches. And if you are ever interested in coming on and being part of the podcast, just let us know. So this has been your host, Felipe.
Kevin.
Claudia.
And we will see you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Bye.